Hey everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Wildcat Way Show. I'm Mackenzie Hickman, and today I have a very special guest. I have Mr. Trael with us today. So Trael, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm really excited to have you because I really want to show your story. I want to be able to, let everybody get to know Trael. So kind of start maybe a little bit of your background, where you grew up, and just a little bit about you to kind of get people to know you a little bit more.
I got you. So I'm just a little, I ain't gonna say a country boy, from the country, but got some city ways from Richmond, Mississippi. I also rep McLean, Mississippi, so shout out to all my family. But just grew up, two brothers, in a household with my dad. My mom passed away when I was young, but she had a big impact on me. So I just live a life, grew up in church my whole life, so kind of want to make sure that I'm following Christ the best way I can. Not perfect by no means, but just genuine and just real. Love family, love to be outside. I definitely love food, love to eat. Every family reunion got to be some good soul food, cooking and that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, so kind of tell us a little bit about your Pearl River experience and everything like that. So what do you do here at the college? Maybe like what's your roles here, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, you're right. So back 2017 when I first came, as a student, definitely had a tough time starting off, but definitely fell in love, got involved at BSU, got involved at FCA, tried to get in anything I could, and actually got in choir and that kind of thing.
Wow. And
now that I'm back, got a chance to come back and work as the Dual Enrollment Administrative Assistant. So get to work with Dr. Bonds, Miss Lisa, and my girls. I love them dearly. I also get to serve at the BSU. You know what I'm saying? So it's actually like full circle for me to go and to be a student, and now come back and serve as the assistant. And also getting to serve as the assistant for FCA under Mr. Kendall, which is also full circle, because my very first FCA was Mr. Kendall being the guest speaker. And so now he's back as a director and I'm helping him out. So it's kind of wild.
Right, yeah, it's kind of all a full circle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So kind of get back into, so you started off as a student here. So you were able to have that student experience. And I know that you talked about things that you were involved in, like choir and the BSU. But I also know that you were a mascot too.
Show you. Right.
So I know that you were involved in a lot, and you've represented the college so well. So tell us about your time as a student and about being involved in those things.
Yeah, man. So as being a student, when you first come to college anyway, it's kind of looking for, trying to find out who you are, outside of in high school, you can be one person, but in college is a fresh start, for most people. So I come to PRCC and I'm like, all right, so who am I going to be? Like, can I be myself? Can I express myself? And I think PRCC gave me a lot of ways to do that, because, like I said, I love God, I love singing, and I also love having fun and being crazy, you know what I'm saying? So getting a chance to go be a part of the BSU, become part of the lead team, get to do my part for God, going in choirs, Miss Tyson, being able to sing, actually taught me a different way of singing and put me, I'm a soprano at heart, I think, but Miss Tyson was like, hey, you gonna sing bass? And I'm like, okay, bet, cool.
Yeah.
So did all that, and then I heard there was a trial for mascots, and I'm like, I would love to do that, you know what I'm saying? So I text Coach Sarah, and I'm like, hey, can I audition and that kind of thing? She's like, yeah. I'm like, but keep in mind, I don't know nothing about cheer. I can't do no stunts, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. So I was like, I can promise you this. We can have a good time, and I'm gonna be crazy as ever. And I think each one of those sections allowed me to be who I am, without containing that. And I kind of call it the PRCC effect. You just come in and it's like, hey, like PRCC has this effect on you where we don't want to make you into what PRCC is, but we want you to be you and show other people what PRCC can help you do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I love that, the PRCC effect. Yeah. That's so true too. I can even say that for my time here. Is like you really grow and figure out who you are.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a pivotal age that you're entering college at, but also it's such a great space to be able to, like you said, like you could do all of those things. You could be in choir, you could be the mascot, you could be a part of the BSU. It's like if you were somewhere else that maybe had a lot more people, you might not have had those same kind of opportunities to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's fun.
Well, so then how did it transition to where you started working for the college?
Right, so honestly, before I even graduated, I was one of those students like, man, I gotta come back. You know what I'm saying?
You weren't ready to leave?
Yeah, I really wasn't. I was like, I gotta come back. And so I actually went off and started working another job for about a year. And I was praying to God, I was like, if there's any way possible, man, I would love to go back and, be able to serve. Because I really want to just come back BSU-wise is what my goal was. But I was like, making, good money at that job, but God also burdened my heart to come back and serve. So I was like, God, if you just open the door anywhere, I'll take it. You feel what I'm saying? And so I looked on, and Dual Enrollment had an open position. I filled it out, come and talked to Dr. B, did the interview and everything, and was blessed to come back. And honestly, it's been just up from there.
Oh, like that's awesome.
Every time I turn around, something's getting better. And I just thank God I'm able to serve the college in any way possible.
And so I know that you got really involved in the BSU whenever you were a student, and you're still super heavily involved.
Yeah.
You work in the dual enrollment office, but you also are very involved on campus and volunteer a lot of your time.
Sure, you're right.
So kind of go through like what made you go over to the BSU, what was the first maybe encounter that you had there, and then how has it transitioned over time? I know that you're a leader over there now, and kind of explain what your role is there now.
Gotcha. So when I first went over to the BSU, number one, I remember they was doing Welcome Week. So the very first night I was looking for the BSU, somebody sent me down to the chapel. So I'm like, there's
it's a church.
Yeah, and I'm like, but nobody's here and the door's locked. So the next night I found out where it was at, so I go over, and as soon as I walked in, this guy named Kyle Stringer walks up to me, and I was like, what's up, man? Nice to see you, glad to have you. And I'm like, man, appreciate you, I'm glad that y'all got something like this. And I walk around, I walk up, Dr. Stan does his message, and we do the whole thing, and I walk into his office, and I say, hey, I want to be on lead team. And he looked at me, he said, first tell me your name.
He didn't even know your name
He didn't even know my name. And I was like, oh, my bad, my name's Trael Hinton. I would like to be on your lead team. He was like, you can work your way up to it. And I was like, okay, bet. So we, go through the process. I just act like I'm a leader, playing the role before I get it. Yeah. So just going through it, and eventually he'll let me be on the lead team, and then the following year I was blessed to be the president. Nice. So serving all those capacities and that kind of thing, and then I left, and then I came back and kind of was talking with him. He was like, I got a lot of students that need a big brother. How you feeling? I was like, I think I would love to help out with that. Yeah. So he gave me the opportunity to come back and do that.
Oh, that's amazing. And then you also, too, you help out with FCA as well, which is our Fellowship of Christian Athletes on campus. So kind of tell us about that aspect on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, so it's, I kind of say it happened full circle, kind of like with BSU, what I'm saying? Mr. Kendall, the very first night I went to FCA as a student, he was there. And I was making jokes with the students last night at FCA saying that, I walked in, it's this slick-headed guy up there speaking. And I'm like, man, that man's speaking some truth. And he shared something that's a point I never forget. He told me, don't be selfish with life. Speaking to everybody, but I felt like it mainly spoke to me. Like, live your life in a way that's so positive and God-led that you don't cause somebody else to stumble, but you cause somebody else to see them. You know what I'm saying? And so when he said that, I was like, man, I would love to get to know that guy. But I didn't meet him that night. I left. And so I come back my third year, and I become a leader at FCA. And Mr. Kendall becomes a director, and I'm like, full circle, right?
It just all came together.
It all came together, and so I graduate, of course, and I come back, and I text him, I was like, hey, would you please allow me to just do something, social media? He was like, man, come on, and just, help. I want you to help any way possible. So, man, getting to be with him on Wednesday nights and being with BSU most of the week, it's really fulfilling.
Absolutely. I know that you do a lot on campus, and you give a lot of your time to the students here, and you make a lot of really great relationships with them.
Yeah.
And so kind of tell me where that's going for you. I know that you have plans for the future too, but what is your ultimate plan with what you're doing right now, and how is that going to help you get there? Yeah,
so my main thing is I've always looked up to the Dean of Students, no matter who it was. When I was here, it started off as Miss Megan, and then now it's Mr. Jeff. But I know it's more to the position than just dealing with students on a daily basis, but they're doing their best to help the students, be comfortable, be successful, and that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And so starting off getting relationships with students and learning how to interact with them, understanding them a little more, because even though it hasn't been that long since I've been a college student, stuff changes every year. You know what I'm saying? So learning how to bond with them, being open, let them know they can come talk to me. So as students behind them come, they know to be like, hey, there's a guy on campus named Trael. If you ever need something, go holler at him. You know what I'm saying? So I want that to be where if I work my way up and become the dean of students one day, you know what I'm saying, that people can still come to my office and I'm that same old Trael that they know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The same Trael that's been fighting for them since he was just an assistant.
Right, that you can always remain that same constant for them.
Right.
So kind of go into the dual enrollment aspect too. So I know that's what your title is in, that's what department you're in. So what do y'all do over there at dual enrollment?
Oh, dual enrollment. So we are really encouraging students to take high school classes, college classes while they're in high school. Right. Right. So trying to kind of get ahead of the game, and I understand that, hey, if you go ahead and start now, when you get in college, you will have a lot more done than some people that's already in college. You know what I'm saying? Even some older people. I really wish it was an opportunity that I had when I was in high school, because I was only allowed to take 2 classes in high school at the time. But like now you're at a point where you can take a lot more classes, and by the time you get to college, you're like, okay, but I only got like a year and a half or a year left. And we even have the middle college program where you can even get your associates while you're still in high school. You actually graduate from college, you know what I'm saying, before high school.
That's
so
wild.
That is wild.
You can graduate from high school and then also graduate from college. Like you're getting 2 degrees in one. It's
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And which I think is so great because, you know, some people want to kind of jump out and go another direction, so it gives them that opportunity.
Right, exactly. So kind of tell us a little bit more about like how that middle college program works. Like is that only available to certain kind of students that are in high school, or is that available to anybody? Yeah,
so there's definitely certain GPA requirements and certain ACT requirements that you have to have, and you have to start at your junior year, so seniors cannot do it, of course. And that's also with just regular dual enrollment. You have to be classified as a junior. To do it. Gotcha. But the prices are different. It's definitely because, I mean, you're taking full course loads. You're a college student full time as well as a high school student full time. Right. So it's definitely different requirements. It has to be for people who really want it, you know what I'm saying, more discipline. But I definitely believe if somebody want to do it, they could really do it. Yeah.
So I know that you're also living on campus, so you're here all the time, always available for the students, right?
Yeah,
24-hour access.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that though. But you're a head resident here, and so tell me about staying on campus and how that is.
Yeah, so it's definitely different. You know what I'm saying? Used to being more secluded. I mean, I always had my brothers around, but you know, not 1,100 students. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a good feeling to be here if they need me. Now they know all my students. I'm over Huff Hall, and on my door they laugh at me all the time because it says after 9 p.m. if you don't need a fire truck, an ambulance, or prayer, don't knock on my door.
That's a good one. That's a good sign to have.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But just so they know that, you know, I am here. Even if it's after 9 o'clock, like I be so serious, like if you truly need me after 9 o'clock, because people have tough nights, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, knock on the door, call me, I'm cool with that. And I hold my students to a somewhat of a high standard because I want to see them be successful. I really do. And you laying in your bed won't get that done. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to ask, like, hey, what your grades looking like? You know, let them know that I'm here and I really do care. Right. Which is kind of where all of them call me Preach, or a lot of them call me Uncle Trael, whichever one, you know. But I want them to know that, yeah, we family now, and as family, I want you to be the best you that you can be. Right. So.
And I think that's such a great thing for them to have, and especially whenever they come to college and maybe they're a little bit further away from their family and they feel like they don't have that here, then they can find that in the people that work here. And that's why I think that somebody like you that is available to the students is so important. And it's the people that make the experience here. Just like you were talking of, you know, whenever you start saying about your PRCC effect, usually that's the people that had the effect on you. You know, the buildings are beautiful and the campus is pretty, but it's the people that are inside the buildings that are making the difference and really making the experience what it is.
Most definitely.
So I think that it's really great what you're doing, and it's definitely needed, and I think that everybody on campus too appreciates it too. For sure.
I mean, definitely, like you saying, the people making the experience. Thinking back, like first person I met was Miss Camille. You know what I'm saying? And I walk in and like I was never a shy person, but I came in because like, I don't know anybody, so it made me kind of shy. And I'm like, I'm in Miss Camille's office all the time. Now I'm calling her Ma. You know what I'm saying? And like she found out that I wanted to try out for voices and that kind of thing. So she makes me sing for her, and she walked me around making me sing for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and then I go
so
in
Miss Camille.
Oh yeah, you know her, man. And so I go in the calf, and then at this time Miss Gail was here. So she was at the front, and then Mama Gail, and then you got Mom Stacy. Like everybody just became family.
Right.
Right. And it had such an impact on me. Like, you know, if I can get back, I need to, because that kind of stuff you don't get everywhere.
No, you don't.
So
absolutely, and that's the thing that can either make your experience or it cannot make your experience.
Right.
And then, you know, that's changed the course of your life from coming here. You know, I know that you grew up in Richton. Jones was a lot closer to Richton for you, probably. It probably made a lot more sense for you to go there. But, you know, you chose to come to Pearl River for a reason.
Yeah.
And then that's led you to where you're at now. And you wouldn't have had the same experience, you know, somewhere else that you didn't here.
I totally agree.
So that's awesome. And you can definitely tell that you've been led down a certain path too.
Yeah.
So, and I know that, you know, we talked about what you want to do professionally and everything one day. But I also know that you eventually want to open up your own church one day.
Yeah, right.
So kind of tell me about what that looks like and, you know, what your goals are in that aspect.
Gotcha. So definitely want to open up my own church. Couldn't even tell you what I would call it as of right now. But my goal is, I'm in school right now, but my goal is to go and get my master's in divinity and have that and be able to plant my own church somewhere. Started where, hey, you know, there's no segregation about all this stuff. Like, you know, you got to do this and you got to do that. Hey, let's just come lift up Jesus. Let's come worship him. You know, let's live for him. Let's show love. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I don't want to encourage no foolishness or nothing like that, but I want people to truly see who God is, and not just in one shape, form, or fashion, but just see him all the way around.
Right.
So I'm definitely working on learning from mentors as I go. It's definitely not in like my 7-year plan, but I say within the next 15 years, that's definitely something I want to be doing.
That you want to do, an ultimate goal probably.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, well, I think that's awesome. I think you're doing everything that you can to make that goal come to life one day. And, you know, I think that the relationships and everything that you're building here is going to eventually, you know, help you down the road too, you know, and I think that that's going to come full circle just like it already has for you. So, but I just want to thank you so much for all of everything that you do on campus now and all of the lives that you touch. And I know that we've even talked about it before of it's very rewarding, but I know that it can be, you know, also very tough on an individual too. So I want to say to you that it's amazing, and I totally understand, you know, how much of a job it really is. That, you know, a lot of it, you're volunteering your time, your energy, all of your help, and sometimes sacrificing your own, you know, self to help others. And that's an amazing thing, and we're really lucky to have somebody like you at PRCC.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you too so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you
and for sharing everything. And I'm just so glad, and I hope that everybody else can kind of see who Trael is and really get to know you, and that can also be inspired by you too.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this episode of the Wildcat Way Show. We had a really special guest today. Make sure to like us on all of our social media platforms at the Wildcat Way Show to keep up and figure out when our next episode is going to be. Thank you all again, and see you next time.